Welcome to the Work Hard, Smile Large podcast, where we explore the outcome of hard work and the power of positivity in our guests' lives. I'm your host and founder, Nicole Christopherson, and today, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode, the show where we bring you extraordinary stories of remarkable individuals who have carved out their path in life. Today, we have a powerhouse woman.
I started as an entrepreneur since I was 5.
Who wears many hats.
You take one off and then you put one on. And as you know, being a wife, a mother, an entrepreneur is a lot.
She's not just a mom, but also a co-founder of the incredible Girl Extraordinaire. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Tiffany Corbett with me in the studio. Embrace yourselves for an awe-inspiring journey as we dive into the life of someone who's not only built a successful business, but sold a clothing company that made waves nationwide.
Sometimes when faith meets consistency, you make a magic.
Tiffany, thank you for joining me today. Imagine clothing lines gracing the racks of David's Bridal. Oh my goodness. The Knot. We all know The Knot from when we got married, potentially. The Wedding Channel, and the list goes on. So Tiffany, tell us a little bit more about your crafts, your passions, your life, and your experiences.
Well, I just want to start with saying thank you so much for having me here. What a true honor. You are made for this. And I appreciate it so very much.
Oh, I appreciate you coming and sharing with our listeners as well, because every day I'm in your presence and every day I have the opportunity to be on the phone with you or have a conversation with you. I learned something new that you've accomplished or experienced in your life. And it's amazing to me because my jaw always drops. I'm like, no, you didn't. You did that too? No, you're rebuilding a house right now. What are you not doing? You're writing a book? So I really am very inspired by you each time I'm in your presence and get to talk to you. So listeners, buckle up and get ready. Tiff is a treat.
Oh, well, thank you for a beautiful introduction. I started as an entrepreneur since I was 5, selling earthworms in Colorado. And then I got my degree from Colorado State University in fashion design, manufacturing, and a minor in psychology. And from there, I took my career to LA, which is shoes and clothes. Dad was putting in pots and pans, and I was putting in high heels.
In the car. She literally drove herself to LA with her life in her car.
Correct.
So pretty fun start to the story, chapter 1.
And I had a little tiger in my belly to go after this life. And I wanted to do something extraordinary. So I started with my friend, a college friend, Courtney. We started Girl Extraordinaire. So I did make my dues in downtown LA. It was a rough beginning. Right. It's off 7th Street. And if you know where that is, it's dynamic.
Yeah, we're being conservative with our word choices, but it's not a very safe neighborhood. Yeah. And especially coming from Colorado to downtown LA, you're in a lot of culture shock. Yeah. As much as you could have good intentions, you're landing in a totally foreign place, correct?
It was. Yeah. And so you definitely pay your dues. Mm-hmm. And I started a clothing company with my friend. I got financial backing. Okay. And I said, hey, Courtney, quit your job.
So Courtney's doing something different. You have this fire in your belly to be an entrepreneur and start a clothing company. And you come here and get funding just out of the blue.
Well,
or did you have to put action and search for that? Or did you meet people? Let's kind of start there, because I know starting a business, a lot of people self-fund themselves, but finding funding is a big responsibility.
It was a God moment, because I literally was working next door. I was designing fabric for a Korean mill.
Okay.
I'm doing swimsuit fabric for Quicksilver and a lot of large companies. I was doing the repeat patterns on my computer and selling that over and over. And I worked next door to these 2 gentlemen, Victor and Yassine, and they said, where do I get somebody like you? You're always smiling. You always are working. And what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to own my own business. Mm-hmm. So they're like, well, you work harder 7 to 7 than anybody I've seen. And they decided to fund my business. He used to say, you're like Girl Extraordinaire. You can do anything.
Yep. I
So
believe
that's how it started.
Okay. So you had 2 neighbors next to where you were conducting your business believe in you.
Correct.
And that does not happen very often, that people take time throughout their business day to recognize and notice what's happening around them.
Correct.
That's not even happening in their business or to their business. You caught their eye just with your personality and smile.
And I used to
The power of the smile, listeners. It's the power of the smile.
It is.
Yep.
And I just was so grateful. The 2 gentlemen, Victor and Yassine, were working next door making wedding products. And they said, well, let me give you a shot. I said, which one would you like? And I was almost the age to get married. So I said, how about I design a few for you? And I did. And then they funded our business. So I called my college friend, Courtney, and she was working for a company called Heart and Soul, and they sold nationwide to Macy's. So she had a totally different skill set.
Uh-huh.
So I said, hey, Courtney, quit your job. We got these 2 guys. Let's just go for it. If we fail, we'll go back to working for other people.
Exactly. You have to try it. You don't know until you try.
So we tried.
And so you designed some things
So this was the era.
them, but then you also launched Girl Extraordinaire.
Correct.
And your designing for Yassine and Victor is what gave you the confidence
Correct.
to go into an industry that is huge. I don't think anybody understands the bridal industry until you get married,
Right.
right?
That is true.
Or you help somebody who's getting married, which is also a big eye into the door of the bridal industry and how much goes into it. And it's only grown every single decade, every single year into what people want and what they expect and what new traditions are coming about, correct?
Right. And it was really interesting because we created a market that didn't exist. So it was a push market. So we created the bridal T-shirts. And so we were calling bridal stores saying, would you like to buy, these T-shirts? And they're like, what? But I wanted to make classier bachelorette party items.
Yep.
So that they said soon to be Mrs. Corbett or Miss, Nicole Christopherson.
Yep.
And
I still have, and I need to go back and look at it. When I got married, someone gave me a little white tank top and these little white cotton booty shorts, I guess you would call it or whatever. And it says Mrs. Christopherson.
we'll probably
I still have it in my house within rhinestones. Yeah, so it was blinged, embellished tank top. And I do still have it. And it probably was you because I got married a while ago.
Yeah.
How wonderful. So you changed an industry because the bridal shops only thought they were going to have dresses and what do we call these? What do we call
Veils.
the veils? Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, I did not wear a veil. And all the, jewelry and accessories, correct? And so you took them one step farther to say, hey, take care of the bride before she puts the dress on.
Correct. And we wanted to do fun things, what we wanted to outfit, because not all girls like attention, but a lot of them do. So we did the bridesmaid, and then they were this entourage. So when they walked and did their bachelor party in Vegas or wherever they went, they were a sight to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did the play clothes novelty products up until the wedding day. So we didn't supply David's Bridal with the dresses, but we supplied them with novelty totes, tees, hoodies, tank tops.
All the stuff that our listeners are probably going, yep, I still have that. Or, yep, my friend made me get all that stuff. I had the whole kit and caboodle from the bridal shower to the bachelorette party to the wedding day.
Yes.
And that's what you did. You created that experience before the bride walked down the aisle for her.
And what was
How special is that, right?
Yes.
So special.
It was a interesting moment because it usually takes people a while to go profitable. And Trish Soren wore our shirt on The Bachelor, the little pink shirt that said bride. Mm-hmm. And we made that shirt for her. And then she went on ABC and then she announced where she got it. Well, our computer started to get all of these orders and orders and orders. And that made us profitable instantaneously as we got the wedding channel and the other larger accounts.
Yeah. And you were seen on television. And I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. I have entrepreneurs surrounding me. My children have wonderful ideas. My friends talk to me about their ideas that they're thinking about for business ventures. And everybody wants that aha moment when your computer starts busting with orders, or you trend, or all those good things. And it happens by pushing a market. It happens by being unique. It happens by doing something that hasn't been done more often than not. And that's scary.
It was scary. It was funny because
I want to talk about those feelings too, because it is scary to overcome that fear, that the unknown market. So what was that like? I mean,
well, it was scary because I drove, like I said, with shoes and clothes, knew no souls, and was just like, I'm going to make this dream a reality.
You came with nothing. You had your car, you had your things, you were determined to start a business.
Correct.
And you had that passion you were pouring into everything. So going into a push market, you knew it was something that was needed somewhere inside of your heart and soul.
Correct. And it was really cute because, we were very young. I was 23 when I started. And I was making samples on my kitchen table with my friend. And it was funny when we got into the knot. She goes, "This looks like it was made on a kitchen table." And I was like, because it was. But we eventually,
But there's so much that goes into manufacturing, right? And so a lot that goes into it. Quality, quality control and managing that, and then inventory.
Correct.
And I mean, you had funding, and you got the business off the ground, and you got recognized, but that takes it to a whole nother level.
It does.
Sourcing. I mean, my cousin was a clothing designer, Mixie. She had an awesome clothing company, and I watched what she did and the time she put into it, and the designs and the samples, and then the manufacturing and the sewing and all the stuff. So that was an experience, I'm sure, too, hiring the right people to help you with that.
Correct. Well,
she's had a lot of experience, listeners. Like, I want you to listen up if you want to make something or create something. She's a wealth of knowledge, and I'm going to get as much out of her as I can today. But the funny part is she's also a business coach, business 5-star, and she shares a lot of this if anybody's looking to, work with her and talk to her personally. So stay tuned for her contact information. So yeah, it's a lot.
Well, I truly love what I do.
I know.
And what I love is people. And at the end of the day, you're not selling a shirt, you're selling yourself. And they buy your stuff because they like you. And they have a choice. Well, back then they didn't have very many choices because we were pushing a product that didn't really exist in a market that didn't really exist. But Courtney and I would sit there and all day long get no's, but we waited for those yeses. And, my husband would be like, "How many yeses did you get?" And I was like, "Well, we got like 300 no's, but we got 2 yeses." And you just hold on for those yeses.
Yeah.
We were like little tigers out there, and we were young and worked really hard.
How did the tank get onto The Bachelor? Like, how did you get that? Because you had to find somebody that said yes.
So this is a wonderful question. Sometimes when faith meets, consistency, you make a magic. And
I love that.
It was a wonderful time. Yassine had Trista Wren in driver's ed class. She had gotten, and anyways, they exchanged the shirt. So it was being in the right place at the right time, but also being in the right place at the right time and being ready for it. That's a big thing. So he handed our shirt, and she wore it. We wrote her a whole little note about who we were, and I was blown away when she showed up on ABC on The Bachelor wearing it, and we just both started crying. Yeah. And it was a real surreal moment because until people buy your products, you can make all this stuff, but there's such a validation when somebody buys it.
Yeah.
And my favorite is just bringing that product from...
And she hasn't stopped bringing products from incubation to market, and we'll get into that a little bit. We'll work our way there. but two young 20-year-olds that get the aha moment and their sales soar and they start growing their company and they're getting recognized. And how long did that last? Because you did sell Girl Extraordinaire and you did it at a phenomenal time. And I know a phenomenal time in your life and a phenomenal time in the industry too. But how long was that run until you knew it was time to sell?
Nicole, this is a wonderful question because
I want people to really put themselves in your shoes and understand that.
Correct. It's funny because everybody says, "Oh, you were an overnight success" when I was on magazines and stuff. And I was like, actually, that took 16-hour days for 10 years.
Yep.
So when people were sleeping or partying, I was working, and we had fun too.
Yeah.
I worked with
your friend.
Yeah, and so it never felt like work. Yeah. So we are. We just, we loved what we did.
Showed up.
You showed up.
For each other, for the company, every day, for as long as it took to get there and keep it there.
And I always say, make sure you keep your competitors. I never talk badly. There's enough for everybody.
Yep.
And my biggest competitor ended up buying us. We made 3 calls. I was ready to go on to the next chapter of Motherhood.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
She's a mompreneur now.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur turned mompreneur. But yeah, you sold to one of your competitors.
Yeah.
And you knew at that time it was the right time. Motherhood is definitely a key, I don't want to call it a trigger because trigger has such a bad connotation, but it's definitely an indication of where your time is going to go in your life and what changes you are willing or able to make.
So I had Brooke, and she was on my hip, and she was, picking out fabric with me. She used to wheel her little car and hand the checks out to our employees. I never left her side. Yeah. But as you know, being a wife, a mother, an entrepreneur, is a lot.
Oh, 100%.
It's ugly.
Live it every day.
And
every single day. And then I added a dog.
Which is
what was I thinking?
It's the cutest dog ever. Best choice ever.
Best choice ever. Now I have
best choice.
Another family member that loves me unconditionally and wants to always be with me. And it's a lot of hats to wear.
It is. You take one off and then you put one on.
Yeah. You have to stay healthy. You got to stay energetic. Like you need a lot of energy to serve all of your hats.
You do.
Yes.
I feel like I was like a little tiny hummingbird my whole life. I just had so much to get done.
Yeah. And she's still like, folks, let's talk about mompreneurs. Her daughter is still by her side all the time, experiencing whatever invention or photography experience or life goal that they have as a family. Brooke is right there alongside them. And that's a beautiful thing because your family is the center of your universe, 100%. And I want our listeners to remember that parenthood and being a mompreneur is hard, but like keeping your eye on your core values and your family because they in turn support you, right?
That's right.
Like then you just said, oh, but so much love. And I'm like, you're looking, you're like, so much responsibility with a puppy. Your dog is part of your family, but your kids and your husband or your spouse, your partner in life, keep you going 100%. So she does. You incorporate your family into every single part of what you do, and it's beautiful.
Well, family comes first to me. Even with business, it still came first. When I crossed over that threshold to walk in my home, it's family.
Yep.
And I think being Italian, 100% Italian, we just scoop up everybody and
we
love
do
it.
Have that in common. We're both Italian. We're both vertically challenged.
That's right. By Paisan.
Yes. We love eating and cooking and feeding other people, whether it's through our businesses or through our kitchens. That's just, I think, what fills our soul because of our nature. That's just how we were brought into this world with our yummy Italian blood. So I'm proud to be able to share that with you as well.
Yeah.
So you knew at the point Brooke was getting a little bit older that it was time to give more energy and more time to the family.
Correct.
And how hard was that decision?
This was a very difficult decision. I had been on the cover pregnant with her on OC Metro. And the lady interviewed me and said, I want to check back with you in 3 years. Let's see how you can balance all of it. And there was a tipping point where I saw my little girl. I never left her side. My husband, Gabe, also owns this company. So he would take her, he had his own shop and we were going back and forth.
We do the same thing. Every day the kids are sick or home from school or something comes up, who can do it, who can stay home, who can take them with, how are they going to do? And that's teamwork.
It is teamwork.
It's your first team.
Yes, my first team. And we're a good little team. Gabe and I, he would dress her in little cowboy pants and shirt. And when she came to Girlio, it was all pink and frilly. So she got kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But it is, to segue into the dance of motherhood and business. So I knew there was a point where I picked my daughter over my business. I can always create another business, but I can't create another daughter. And time is fleeting, and we're here for just a snapshot in life. And she's my light, that is.
She changed your life.
Yes.
In the best way possible.
Yes.
And the changes didn't stop there. And I really asked Tiffany today if she'd be comfortable really jumping into that, because you pivoted and changed a lot from there. I feel like that was just you ripped off your vest and you're like, okay, here we go.
I did.
Because you jumped both feet into motherhood. Mm-hmm. You were like, goodbye. This is the best time to exit. Get the company sold to one of my competitors. You were proud. Mm-hmm. I mean, sure, it was a great accomplishment. Your friend and you, I'm sure, are still friends. And Brooke and you and your family decided to relocate.
We did.
Shortly thereafter.
We did.
They made another big change, and I can relate to that too, because I relocated. Right. So, changed your life.
Well, we pulled the roots out.
Yep.
We didn't tell any of our friends. Gabe said, well, now that you sold your business, we're like free birds. He sold his business a couple of years before me. And so I pulled up the roots and I said, let's go buy a house in Austin, Texas. I always liked Austin. I wanted to take it down a notch.
Yep. From Colorado, LA to Austin.
Correct. And that's my zigzag. And I just wanted to slow it down a little bit.
Yep.
And so we sold. And it is hard because the ego, I could call BH1 or ABC or all these. And now I am a mother. Mm-hmm. And to me, being a mother is the most extraordinary job you'll ever love. And it's the hardest job you ever love.
100%. I know everybody that's listening can totally relate. I don't even question that anymore.
Yeah.
We all know that it's our circus. As much good and as much challenge that comes with it, we all enjoy it.
Correct. And it's 365 days, 7 days a week.
Yep.
No breaks, no holidays. And I love it.
Yep.
I love kids and animals. That is my true passion.
Yep.
So I changed this big hat to Texas hat.
Yep.
And took it down a notch, like 7 notches. Took it down.
No more 16-hour days unless it revolves around Brooke and getting settled in your new space. And she's nonstop. She's a creative as well. I mean, Tiff is a photographer. She's had her photography published, and she is always capturing moments. And I think that's really what that did when you slowed down and you were able to go behind the camera and capture what was capturing your heart in life. I think that was a turning point, another change, right?
It was a change. Yeah. And I'm a combination of my father and my mother. My father was a CPA and he owned his own business, and my mother was a photographer and she owned her own business. So I'm I'm an artist that makes money. I am like a half left brain, half right. But most important is, going back to what you love. Mm-hmm. If you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work.
Yep. And that's what she does. She captures people behind the camera and shares their beautiful, positive moments, happy moments most often, right? You capture nature.
I do.
And you and your husband share that as well, because I know he flies the drone and captures it. Yeah. So it's so neat how you do everything with your family alongside you, and you all share a lot of the same passions and interests, which is cool, because I don't necessarily want to sit and watch football or do certain things that my husband wants to do. We do everything together, but we do have a little bit of a different interest. So that's really fun too. And Brooke now is a creative. We're seeing her grow into a balanced businesswoman and creative too. Aren't you so proud?
I am. It's really neat because, I started inventing stuff at 5. And she is now got that creative. Gabe and I both do photography, different photography. And she started a YouTube channel thanks to you.
Oh, yeah. We should talk about that for our listeners.
At your Work Hard, Smile Large event.
The vision mapping last year, we did an in-person and virtual youth vision mapping event. And Brooke came and participated with us and with my children, and the guest speakers got to speak to her. And she, tell the listeners, she accomplished everything on her vision map this year.
I didn't. She did. She got it. And Nicole does just a beautiful job at her.
Thank you.
Vision boards. And that is key to becoming successful if you have a roadmap.
Yep.
Nicole just
blueprint to where you want to be next year. You don't need to think past that. Like, your blueprint for next year is so important. Otherwise, you're going to sit doing the world's hamster wheel, life's hamster wheel, the same thing over and over, and be the same person at a different time.
It is true.
With a different age. Like, that's all that happens, right? And so my kids, you inspired me after we talked about it last week. I went and looked at my daughter's vision maps. And my youngest wanted to master multiplication.
Oh, wow.
And wanted to get good grades in math.
Wonderful.
And she didn't even realize she accomplished everything on her vision map either. I know. So thank you for reminding me to go find it in their den.
It is amazing.
That's amazing.
Because Brooke wanted to play an instrument. She got that. She started a YouTube channel and got 2,000 subscribers.
What is her YouTube channel?
Oh, boy.
I haven't asked this yet.
Cat Pizzeria.
Okay.
She loves cats and pizza. And so this is her. She is so diligent. Yep. She's got Gabe and I woven in her. At 7:30, she posts a video every morning. She says it's her job, and she makes videos of our cats and dogs.
Perfect.
But she is a creative.
Oh my goodness. So anything is possible, right?
Yes.
You just put your mind to it.
And starting at that young age, I read a book that says, show me the 7-year-old and I'll show you what they do at like 30. Mm-hmm. So you can really start to see those, twinkling.
The trends, like when they start thinking about where they want to go and where their next step is going to take them. And they're not just running in circles, chasing other people. They're being themselves. They're being, true to what they enjoy and what they're good at. It's amazing watching them. And that's why adding the youth vision mapping component to Work Hard, Smile Large last year was so important to me, because it was the first time I had opened up my vision mapping events to the world. It went international last year. It was the first year we had it out, and then we brought the kids together. And this year we're going to provide resources, and we're going to ask our Work Hard, Smile Large community to pull their kids in and do their vision map with them this year, and not let it stop there, because we provide all the resources in vision mapping. And if you haven't had a chance to tune into it, you can look back at our feed in the last month and kind of see everything that we do to help you get ready and understand and be prepared to show up at the event and enjoy it and map your vision for a year.
Yes. Well, you are such a lighthouse to this community.
Thank you.
And I mean, you shine that light and reflect that to everybody around you. And for you to do it to the children, our next generation of beautiful, is so special.
Yeah. They don't need to wait till they're adults. Like everything with Work Hard, Smile Large, everything with how you're parenting your child is, why not now? Why not then? Why not now? We're responsible for them. We can oversee it. We can make sure they're safe. We can make sure their questions are answered. We can make sure they understand what they learned from a failure.
Right.
If it doesn't work out, why not have that experience now? I feel like I went through my whole life, beautiful private schools,
beautiful,
great family. Like I was, raised blue collar. I was great. I had a great life. I didn't realize until I got to college and I had the freedom to be who I wanted to be and not wear a uniform every single day and not follow what all my friends did and compete for a certain grade, and I could study what I wanted to study. It was at that point in my life, I got straight A's. I excelled. I was able to be myself. And tried nursing, didn't like nursing, went into education, did that. So I just really had that moment. I go, why did I wait until I was 18 to figure this out? 19, 20, why? I could have figured that out so much earlier on, and I want to bridge that gap. I hope, and I know Work Hard, Smile Large will bridge that gap for our community and for the children that get to be a part of it, and that every single one we meet and every single one of my daughter's friends that gets to participate, and the community members that get to bring their kids into it for our youth events and stuff. It's super important. We need to give them more credit for what they're capable of and where that learning lesson is going to take them earlier, because they're our future.
They
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we pour into them, we pour into those next. What you do now helps 7 generations.
Yep.
So I think that's amazing.
And let's lead this right into Business 5 Stars next event, because you are coming out. You're bringing some amazing people together, and you're sharing your experience with even more people now in person. And your hummingbird has resurfaced at the feeder, and you're gonna.
That is true.
You are buzzing around again and ready to kind of share your insights. So tell our listeners a little bit about Business 5 Star and your upcoming events.
Well,
please.
Business 5 Star is a group, is a speaking engagement that I created to help women and men. But I got a sweet spot for business women to help inspire them to dream big and to accomplish their goals. So my 20 years of experience is at this going to be, bottled up. And my tips and tricks and secrets and hardships, I'll be presenting, to a group of women and men.
And who wants to hear that more? When I started my business, or when we launched Work Hard, Smile Large, you don't have somebody that's done exactly what you've done before.
Correct.
And you need a little bit of guidance. And yes, you can hire a coach, and yes, you can do everything by the book. But if you want to push and do it the way your heart tells you to do it, there's these foundational key pillars that you need to know to focus on to be able to not lose sight of what your goal is, and to be able to get off the ground in the proper way, correct?
It is true. And what I teach in this course is to set it up correctly, like an oak tree. Strong, slow, deliberate. And some of the common mistakes, we all make growing, I try to help people prevent.
Mm-hmm.
If it's structurally sound, just little tiny tips and tricks that make it easier for people. What an elevator speech is, different things that, when you have 30 seconds to tell somebody what you do, make it good.
You better know what to say.
You do.
And you better say it correctly.
Correct.
Because you get that one opportunity a lot of times.
And sometimes I get octopus mouth and I stumble all over the place. But it's good to know why they should pick you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you believe in you, then they'll believe in you too.
Yep. Yeah. This conversation came up yesterday as I was talking to another friend of mine about being confident in who you are, not looking at your peers as competition.
Yeah, they're not.
And you only let that guard down, and you restore that energy within yourself and within your business when you stop trying to compete with other people.
Correct.
That takes so much energy.
The only competition is yourself.
True.
You should only work on yourself.
Yep.
I always believe there's enough for everybody. Let's help each other, right? I may have an answer for you. You have great answers for me.
Collaboration.
Let's help each other, because it's hard out there.
It's really hard.
It's
and
hard
how
out
you show up every day is so important.
Correct.
Tiff's a 5 a.m. girl.
I am.
And I'm not a 5 a.m. girl. I'm like a 5:15, 5:30 girl that wants to be a 5 a.m. girl. And I'm putting it out into the universe, and it's on my vision map for this year, and I'm not there yet. So there you go. I'm super honest with my listeners. But Tiff's a 5 a.m. girl, and she said something recently to me. She said, I think I'm going for 4:30.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Done that from time to time. It makes for a really sleepy afternoon and evening. But what's so important about our mornings? Let's talk about this, because it fuels your whole day.
Oh, I absolutely love sunrises and sunsets, and I live for them. I read the book 5 a.m. Club, but I've been a 5 a.m. girl for a while. And carving out that beautiful time, my mother-in-law, she always talks about that too. She's an early bird too.
Yep.
But you carve out that morning where it's peaceful.
Exactly.
And you set the tone of your whole day, right? Once we go, the kid wakes up, everything, breakfast, you go.
The puppy follows you around.
Correct. And life starts. So you can set your day with intention. And I'm a psychology minor, and I love the way the brain works. And a lot of Da Vinci, a lot of these really high-powered professionals, from actors to artists, they're 5 a.m. Because the mind gets a lot of dopamine. You get a flush of dopamine if you're consistent in that. Is it hard? Yeah, some days it is. And some days I sleep in, but my husband's like, can we make it 6:30?
Right.
But I love it.
Because once you get on the habit, and this is, I think, what a lot of our people who aren't morning people or start creating morning routines have a fear of. Yes, it does carry through to your weekend. Yes, you do happen to wake up earlier on the weekends too. But you're not your structure and your mindset is a little bit different when you wake up earlier on the weekend. You're still falling in love with that alone time that you get, those moments of seeing the sunrise. I mean, we get to see the sky change as the sun comes up every morning too. And I don't get up at 5 a.m., but I still get to see that transformation, and you find your sweet spot on time. So play with it. The first 3 days are probably the hardest.
It is.
And after that, it's so easy. And then you learn to appreciate the extra time in the morning on the weekends too. It really isn't a hindrance.
It's fed. So many of my friends, I'm always fishing for anybody awake at this time.
I have certain people that will message me. It'll be, I'll respond to some messages once I tune into that, because I don't like to be on technology right when I get up in the morning.
That's good.
And I'm like, whoa, you're on Pacific time zone. No, that's not. They're like, oh no, this is how I get ahead. They're like, this is how I get ahead of the East Coast time zone. You're perfect. You're right in the middle. And I'm like, all right, you always can catch a morning person by their, how soon they're able to communicate with you, and knowing that. And I'm like, I would love to create an accountability like morning club for anybody for Work Hard, Smile Large, because I talk about morning routines so much. And I would love to start some sort of morning accountability for anybody that wanted to participate, because sometimes you just want to say, good morning, you do, I feel really good. Good morning, I'm going to go do this workout, or good morning, I'm going to try this, or good morning, I just finished my book. And that accountability at that time when you're in your zone and you're getting your dopamine hit is like the best, and you're setting your goals for your day. I talked about it in vision mapping, and I think you'll remember last week where I was listening to a new app that I have, and I'll put it in the description here. And somebody was talking about how a doctor said when you set a goal, and that goal gives you that excitement, you get a little dopamine hit, and you're really excited about your goal. Imagine doing that every day.
Yes.
And not doing it on your long-term goals and your really, really big goals, but each day setting those goals for yourself and tuning into yourself. You're starting your day out with the best vitamins you can have in your body naturally to guide you.
I love it. Because I start my day with a hot glass of lemon water, and I do prayer, and I watch the sunrise and just sit with my own thoughts. And that piece of that day, it really sets the tone to go into that day, and then I'm calmer, and then that flex in, and I'm more creative. If you track where you're creative, like everybody always says, if you're in the shower, you get a great idea. Well, it just meant that you were quiet. When we're quiet, our soul talks to us. God, the universe, you get those little whispers of what you should be doing. So I think that's real special.
Important for everybody, and everybody has it at different times of day and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's super helpful. So you are emerging back. Our hummingbird is coming back out to share her business tips and tricks this year in 2024. Your daughter's accomplished everything she wants to accomplish. So good job, Mom. We give her a little pat on the back and a little hug right now if our listeners can't see that. And I'm so honored that you came on and shared your business path with us. It's like our listeners now know not to be afraid. If you want to do something, push, pull people in around you. Make sure to always smile.
Right.
That's another thing that we're going to
That's what got my the attention of the neighbors. They were like, you smile from 7 to 7.
Yeah.
And you feel better when
and you know you're doing something you're truly passionate about. If it doesn't feel like work, it will be a lot of work.
It will.
But you'll be smiling because you're enjoying it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you look fear in the face. You know, on the other side of fear, there's all the good stuff.
Yep.
If you go around that, you know, there's, you know, on the other side of that ride to Los Angeles, when I was white knuckling it, there was beauty.
The other side of relocating to Texas and not knowing a single person. We have that in common too.
Yes.
Not one single person. And you were one of the first people that the friend who I recognized through our exploration that had moved here, our mutual friend of ours, was like, you got to meet Tiff. And then we met, and it was like, you were like the second person. I mean, I knew Scott a long time before. So we were reunited, but it was great. It was great. You helped welcome me, both of you, to Texas.
Yeah, because you're
not a single person. Not a single person too. It's amazing. It's a good experience in life.
It is. Yeah. I think it's so. I kind of look forward to that because it is scary on the other side of that. What is that? Yeah. And if you stay stuck, you're not going to grow. Mm-hmm. So on the other side of what's scary is a new. It's the road less traveled.
Yep.
But it's a path that you need to take.
Yep. It's like studying abroad, immersion. It's like full immersion in another context, right? Because we talk about immersion for culture and language and stuff, and immersion for yourself in this world is taking those leaps of faith, doing something new, going somewhere new.
Right.
Doesn't mean you have to move your whole life or anything like that, but just going somewhere new temporarily, getting outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right? And learning through experience. That's truly the definition of immersion.
It is.
Immerse yourself in life, listeners. Work hard at it and always smile.
And I told Brooke today, she was getting out of the car, and I said, work hard. And she's like, smile large.
Every day.
And so that is, what a powerful statement.
Thank you.
You know, that is, you are a fire starter. You know, you bring that light.
Thank you.
And I just am so drawn to you and all that you've done.
Well, I love sharing like my experiences. And I think through getting uncomfortable and getting comfortable being uncomfortable, I'm just like, you know what? If you have these same experiences, you have these same feelings, like it cannot hurt to share. And I wanted my daughters to share what their hard experiences were too, because that helps break down barriers and stereotypes and ways that children repeat behavior all the time, right? I want them to be comfortable saying something's right or wrong. I want them to have that internal compass on the importance of a smile for others too. And so it's carrying on. It's going to keep going, and we're not stopping. And I'm so happy to have you on the podcast today. It's taken me a while to get you on here with me because I've been consulting with you, and Tiff was really influential when I said I'm going to do this. She was here by my side, helping me answer the questions. Yes, you have been. Well, thank you so much for coming on with me today. Founder of Girl Extraordinaire, Business 5-star, and also Studio 213. So she's wearing a lot of hats, even though we say she was like laying low. This little hummingbird's been out and about, but a fantastic mom, always a mompreneur, business mogul. And one thing I did not ask you, and I think I know you have a few, what's your life's mantra or motto? Because I know you have a few.
And my life's motto is stay curious, stay kind, and be extraordinary in what you do. I'm a curious cat. I read and listen. And Gabe calls me a little Wikipedia because I just can't get enough information. You know, the more you learn, the more you earn.
Yeah.
And be extraordinary. Extraordinary just means going a little bit more.
Push.
That push. That's right.
Push.
You are definitely extraordinary in every way.
Thank you. I learn a lot from you, and I'm not going to stop either. And we have a lot in common because
we do.
If I want to figure something out, I'm going to go read about it, and I'm not going to waste time, mindlessly watching TV or doing things that, you know what I mean? I'm not learning from. And so I surround myself with amazing people, and thank you so much for being one of those people in my life that is always there if I have a question. So until next time, this is the Work Hard, Smile Large podcast. Miss Tiffany Corbett was here today sharing her decades of experience in business and in life. And we always end the podcast with work hard,
smile large.
Thank you, Tiffany. And that wraps up another incredible episode of the Work Hard, Smile Large podcast. I hope you enjoyed our journey today as much as I did. A big thank you to our amazing guest for sharing her story and insights. If you found inspiration in today's episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with friends, family, or anyone who could use a boost. Remember, your journey is unique and every step counts. Keep working hard and never forget to smile large. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. You never want to miss an episode. We have a lot more incredible stories and conversations lined up for this season. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep dreaming big, and as always, work hard, smile large.